Hi, everybody. Good morning. I'm going to give you a quick run through of the outline. I know that you have your student outline that you're going to work on, but I think sometimes when your teacher or an adult can kind of put everything in context, that helps a little bit. And in the cyber program, you do sort of miss that daily interaction. So we just did in chapter 1, we talked about kind of what is a business, and we also described the difference between wants and needs and also goods and services. Those are the underlying decision that every business has to make. But we've got two different things that we want to talk about in this section. So we're talking about economic resources and systems. So we have our businesses that have to decide what to do with their resources. And then very often those businesses are operating inside of an economic system. So it could be like the US, where we have a free market economy. It could also be like other parts of the world that are not so free. They're known as mixed economies, and in some cases, command economies, where the government makes all the decisions. You're going to see a crossover here between what you've done in social studies and what you're going to be doing in this class. So when we talk about these different things, companies and countries have to decide the factors of production they have and how can they best use those to meet the needs of consumers or of people in their community. Along those lines, you're going to feel that this is kind of like a translation maybe to what you did in science. We have natural resources that we have to consider. We know that in different areas, like up in the New York, Canada area where we have Niagara Falls, that's actually a big energy maker through the falls. And then obviously you can see by this picture with our wind turbines that we very often see more down in the southern area and also in the central part of the country where there's more open space that they can actually put those. So we've got to figure out how to work with what we have where we live, whether that's the United States or whether it's going to be another country. But then we also have other things to consider, and we've got our humans. So our humans can bring a lot to the table. They might have entrepreneurial ideas, very innovative. They might have a special type of education or some other special skill that we want to utilize in the best way possible. So we've got 3 questions that companies and countries are going to have to ask themselves. What should be produced? How do we do it? And then also, who should actually get it, or how do they share in what's produced? Inside of this section, this is where you're going to start to feel that it's a tie over to your social studies. So when we talk about these different economic systems, we have 3 basic economic systems: market and command on either end. And then our mixed is what we see quite a bit in the middle with several different countries. In addition to this, we're also going to talk about supply, demand, and equilibrium price. These are probably the most challenging concepts in this section. You'll have different activities so that you can work with it, so hopefully it will sink in better than this couple-minute video. What we're looking at right now is a supply and demand chart, and here's what I want you to think about. You know how this works. I want you to think about when you go to the store, the items that are on clearance. So the items that are on clearance are usually kind of random. The sizes nobody wants, the colors nobody wants, the designs nobody want. So what we think about with this idea of supply and demand, there's not a lot of demand for those items, yet there's still some supply. So what do they do for the prices of those? Do they raise them or do they drop them? Well, they're going to drop them because they want to get rid of that excess product that they have. Now let's do a role reversal. And let's think about a really sought after item. So maybe a kid's toy that is really popular during the holiday season. Maybe if you're into sneakers, like what's the newest sneaker drop that's coming out, or some other item that's really in high demand. So if you have something that's really in high demand, and there aren't that many of them out there, that's called supply, what happens to the price? See, you already know. They're going to raise the price because they know they can get it. That is the underlying idea of supply and demand. And when we have this crossover here in the middle, this is the equilibrium price. What that really means is that's where the supply and the demand met and everybody's happy. So if you're the business that sells the item, you're satisfied with the price. But then as the consumer, I feel like it's a fair price as well. I know I have to pay money for good stuff, so I'm satisfied with that price. I hope that helps you just a little bit more when we talk about these different types of economies, and you'll have a chance to work with those on your own. Thanks so much. Have a great day.